John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today another exciting episode for you. What we're going to do today is we're going to share with you guys my opinions on the differences between the different juicers. And this is a topic that comes up a lot for me. I see videos online that saying, you know, this juicer is a masticating juicer, but to me, clearly it is not a masticating juicer. Terminology is being thrown around to you guys: centrifugal, masticating, cold press, single auger, twin gear, and you guys don't know what all this stuff means if you're looking for a juicer, so I'm here to explain that to you guys, hopefully in more layman's like terms, and also explain to you guys the differences between the different juicer models so that you guys could make the proper juicer purchase for you and select the right juicer. Because, you know, the truth of the matter is, as much as I have my personal preferences on what juicers I use in my home, you know, you guys may have different needs than I do. So I'm not ever going to say the centrifugals, they're always the worst or they're always the best. You know, it depends. And my job here as somebody that educates the public about the juicers is to explain to you guys how they work so that you guys can make your own decision instead of me trying to like sell you this one because I feel it's the best. You know, every juicer has their pros and cons, and much like most things in life, there's pros and cons to everything. And that's what I'm here to simply share with you guys today, when in my opinion there's a lot of misinformation in the market. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the different style machines, mainly the centrifugal style juicer, the masticating juicer, and the cold press style juicer. These, in my opinion, are the three main categories of juicers in the market today, and all juicers will fit into one of these three categories. And I often see juicers miscategorized even by some manufacturers that put them in a different category, maybe to, I don't know, change the perception about their juicer, or I don't know for what reason. Maybe just to get people to buy their juicer because they think it's better. But, you know, I want to clearly explain my opinions on this topic and going over each of these juicers right now, right here for you guys. Now, this video is going to be long, so I'm going to forewarn you because, you know, this is not an easy subject to talk about. You know, I could go on and on and on and on about all the pros and cons of the different juicers, but I want to try to keep this kind of short for you guys that are going to turn the video off after 3 minutes. So at least stay tuned for the next couple minutes where I go over the main pros and cons of each of the machines, and then a little bit later in this video I'm going to get more into detail about each specific type of juicer and why you may want to get one or the other, and why one may better suit you, you know, than the other, for example. Alright, so first I want to go over this style. This is known as a centrifugal ejection style machine. So centrifugal means, spinning, and ejection means it ejects the pulp. So there are old versions of the centrifugal ejection known as centrifugal juicers that keep the pulp inside. I'm not even going to talk about those. Those, in my opinion, are kind of antiquated at this point. But the centrifugal ejection juicers, you know, they're fairly current. And these are the style machines when you hear the term juicer, you go down to your local department store and go to buy a juicer. This is the kind of juicer that they're most likely to carry. Most places don't have these other style machines. These machines are very inexpensive to create and make, so they're actually pretty inexpensive to buy. And the main pro of this style machine is that they're fast. I mean, I could make a juice in this Breville Juice Fountain Elite in under 30 seconds. Man, that's cool, you know, because definitely making a juice in under 30 seconds is better than taking a soda and popping the top in 5 seconds, right? And I want to encourage you guys always, you know, to eat more fruits and vegetables, however you guys could get them in, you know. Juicing is my preferred method to get especially the vegetables and leafy greens into me, and I prefer to blend or eat my fruits whole, right? And that's the main benefit of juicers, you know, is to eat more fruits and vegetables and to concentrate them in, you know, in a higher quantity than you would normally be able to eat. So, you know, I could take 5 pounds of carrots, run it through the Breville, make approximately 5 cups of juice, and have the nutrition out of the 5 pounds of carrots, which is intensely more nutritious, in my opinion, than a burger, a Big Mac, you know, a Ding Dong, a Ho-Ho, a Twinkie, a cookie, you know, a Coke, a soda, a coffee. And, you know, I want to teach you guys good, better, best. I always want you guys to eat fruits and vegetables, and if you know, you're going to eat them whole and chew them up and take a while to digest them, that's going to be great. If you want to juice them, I mean, that's even probably better. And if you want to blend them, hey, that's great too. But get more fruits and vegetables in you. And that's what these appliances allow you to do, more so than any other appliance on the market. They allow you to eat the most amount of fruits and vegetables because they take out the fiber so you can have the really rich, nutritious juice. So yeah, this guy's extremely fast. One of the negatives I don't like about this is that it actually tends to produce a lower quality juice. Not necessarily by heat, which is another misnomer out there. That kind of bothers me a lot too. but mainly because it's aerating the juice. And while certain nutrients can't be aerated and not affected, such as minerals and some vitamins, other vitamins may be oxidized, and more important, some of the most important nutrients in these plant foods, fruits and vegetables, the phytochemicals and phytonutrients basically can be damaged and destroyed. So in a test I saw recently that came out last year, actually it's a journal published study, where they compared a cold press juicer to a high speed juicer. The juice made in the high speed juicer had 50% less cancer fighting ability. So I don't know about you guys, but for me it seems like always like a friend, a neighbor, somebody I know, somebody in my family comes down with cancer, and that's something that I want to avoid. So I want to cancer proof my body. And to do this, when juicing, you could select a juicer that's going to give you 50% more protection or 50% less. And the choice is yours. I'm just here to explain that. But see, people don't have this current knowledge. They don't stay up to date with all the new studies coming out, right? And of course, this study was done in a test tube, so I'm not making any claims that juicing is going to do anything to your cancer. But, this is what they've shown in test tubes, right? And I've met plenty of people from testimonials that I've heard that I've sold juicers to that have healed themselves, with juicing and other therapies, So anyways, so this one has a lower nutrition quality, and the thing is that people don't understand is that each style juicer will juice certain produce items better or worse than the others, right? So if you want to focus on like carrots and apples and hard vegetables, this juicer is going to juice great. Now if you want to juice like softer fruits, berries, and leafy greens, this juicer is not going to do so well. It's going to generally leave a fairly wet pulp, and you're throwing juice out in the pulp. So by buying maybe a more expensive juicer that worked more efficiently, you'd save money because the pulp that's all wet that you're throwing away, you're throwing juice down the drain. Or hopefully it's going in your compost, right? So that's the main thing about the centrifugal ejection style machine. Next, we have the true masticating machine, and this is known as the Champion Juicer. The Champion Juicer, in my opinion, is the only true masticating juicer on the market, right? There's other companies that say our juicers are masticating, and in my opinion, that's just wrong, and that's misleading the customers. So I hope that these companies that call their juicers masticating change their terminology to the next style that I'll be talking about, that in my opinion, has further benefits than even the masticating. So to masticate means to like chew, with teeth. We can masticate our food with our teeth, and I'll let you guys know that, really, you guys don't need to buy a juicer if you don't want to, right? Because why? Because we all were given the best juicers on the planet, our teeth. But the problem is, we don't use our teeth how they should be used. We should be chewing every mouthful of food into a mush. That's why we give babies baby food. You ever thought about that? Why do we give babies baby food? Because they don't got teeth. So it's all into a mush. So if we chew everything into a mush, we're basically grinding everything up at a low speed, low RPM, into the juice and the fiber. Now, of course, you could spit out the fiber, like if I'm eating sugar cane, I would chew up the fiber, get the juice, and spit the fiber out because I wouldn't want to swallow it. But you could, swallow the fiber as well, and there's needs for the insoluble fiber that you swallow when you're chewing it up. But the problem is most people don't chew their food well. They take two chews and they swallow. It takes me like an hour to eat my salad at night because I'm chewing it to mush. And I know most of you guys aren't going to do that, and that's why the juicers are so beneficial, because it allows you to basically chew your juice, or chew your food without chewing it. And so that's where the Champion comes in. It really, with its RPMs, 1,725 RPMs, this guy runs at 13,000 RPMs. It basically chews up the food for you so you don't have to. So the main pro of the Champion is that these things are built like tanks. These were designed like 60 years ago. This is the 60th year anniversary of the Champion, and that's a pro. But the con on the other side is that they haven't really changed since 60 years ago. The design is still the same. They run at the same RPM, and they have some minor changes, but pretty much they're the same machine that they were 60 years ago. And how many of you guys drive 60-year-old cars? I go out and I might see a 60-year-old car once in a blue moon, but everybody has the newest car with airbags and seatbelts, and technology has advanced significantly in cars, in my opinion, and they've also advanced significantly in juicers, in my opinion, also, and the Champion juicer pretty much hasn't changed, right? So that's one of the cons. It is medium fast, and it works fairly well on all different kinds of produce. You know, leafy greens not super well, but I'd say the leafy greens work better than the Breville, and it's fairly easy to clean. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much the Champion in a nutshell. And of course, I will be getting more into detail on each of these style machines in just a little bit, so stay tuned. So the last style machine I want to show you guys today is the cold press style juicer. Now the cold press style juicer, I have one example here today, right now, but I'll be going into the different style of cold press juicers in just a little bit. And this is more of a category of juicers, whereas masticating is a category, but it only has like one juicer. The cold press category could have like a two-step hydraulic press style juicer. It could have, like this one, a horizontal single auger juicer. It could have a vertical single auger juicer, or it could have something like a twin gear juicer that all runs at low RPMs. But the main thing with all cold press juicers is that they do not basically incorporate heat into the juicing process, and also in general they tend to run at a lower RPM to increase the yields and increase the amount of nutrition in the juice. Much like any juicer, you know, they will work better or worse on certain produce items depending on this particular type of cold press juicer. So this machine tends to run at a 58 RPMs, and I want to go ahead and give you guys a sample of the sound and the noise level, because this is one of the many factors you guys should take into consideration when purchasing a juicer, especially if you have kids and family or roommates at home and you get up early and you want to juice early and go to work and they're still sleeping. Some of these machines will wake your family or roommates up. You know, I've been told that this juicer actually sounds like an airplane taking off in the kitchen. So I want to go ahead and turn these guys on to let you guys hear what they sound like. So that's pretty loud, and when you put produce in the machine, it even gets louder. We're going to go ahead and turn that guy off. So that's 13,000 revolutions per minute. Generally, the faster the machine, the louder it's going to be. This is running at 1,725 RPMs. So, you know, that's a nice hum, and it's a lot quieter, you know, than the Breville there. Once again, this is the Champion masticating juicer. And over on this side, we have the Solo Star 4. It runs at 58 RPMs. We'll turn that guy on. And that guy's probably the quietest of them all. It runs low and slow, 58 RPM. So, I mean, the noise that the juicer makes, or the sound the juicer makes, is just one of the many factors that you may want to consider. So the pros of cold press juicing overall is that it's higher nutrition and higher yields, and some of the cons of the slower style cold press juicers is that they can take more time to use, which I know a lot of you guys might be in a time crunch. You know, and I always want to say that any juicing of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables is better than drinking, you know, pasteurized and bottled Odwalla or juice you could buy at the store, or most other beverages, in my opinion. So I don't want, you know, just because the machine's a little bit slower, you know, to dissuade you from buying a juicer. And I also want to encourage you guys that, you know, I know you guys think you guys don't have time because I got to do this, I got to do that. But if you really think about it, we have time for what we want to do in life. If it comes Sunday and football is on, but you got to mow the lawn, guess what? You guys ain't going to mow the lawn. You guys are going to be out watching the football game, right? So we all make time for what is important to us. So I want to encourage you guys to make juicing important to you, because it's the #1 thing I believe that can change your life for the positive more than any other, you know, dietary change you could be making, is just by simply including a fresh fruit or vegetable, more importantly leafy greens juice, you know, in the beginning of the day instead of eating breakfast, you know. So anyways, what I want to do now is actually get into each style of machines and go more into depth on how they work, why I like them, and why I don't. So the first style of machine that I want to talk about today are called the centrifugal juicers, and this is known as a centrifugal ejection because it actually ejects the pulp. There's still juicers being created today that are centrifugal juicers that don't eject the pulp. And I want to encourage you guys to avoid those machines because they are of an older design, and while they will make higher yields in some instances, you know, the main con for me is that you have to stop after making maybe a quart or less of juice and have to stop and clean the machine out before you could continue juicing. So it's not a continual, you know, juicing process if you're making large volumes of juice. So this is a centrifugal ejection style machine, the Breville Juice Fountain Elite, probably one of the best selling juicers on the market. And, you know, it even has its pros and cons. I know you might guys might see reviews online and people rave about their Breville. You know, chefs rave about the Breville. And, you know, there are good things about it, but, you know, I think a lot of people don't have the full knowledge and full experience with many different juicers. I mean, I have 20 juicers on the shelf here that I get to pick from and use on a daily basis, and I have my personal favorites. And after using many different styles of juicers, this is a style juicer that actually I rarely pick up and rarely ever use nowadays, because in my opinion, the cons outweigh the pros for my lifestyle and my personal needs and wants. So let me go ahead and explain how this works. We're going to go ahead and pull this guy down, take it apart. And I mean, one of the main pros of this machine, and I'll be honest with you guys, it's easy to clean. I mean, there's 3 parts. If you guys can't clean 3 parts to make a fresh juice, I don't know, maybe you shouldn't even be opening soda to drink. And this model, the JE800XL, stainless steel, so when you're washing it under the sink with a little brush that's included with the machine, all the juice pretty much melts off this and you're pretty much done. The hardest piece to clean on any juicer is the juicing screen. You know, that does get clogged with pulp, so you should wash this right after you use it, and that goes with any juicer. Right after you're done juicing, you always want to clean the juicer right after you're done, because otherwise the stains will set in, the pulp will dry, and it'll be significantly harder to get it off. If you don't clean it immediately, minimally soak the parts in like a dish tub and some hot soapy water. Alright, so how this machine works is you got a main juicing bowl here, and that goes on right here. Some of them are clear, this one's stainless steel. And then you have the juicing blade and screen assembly. So you put a produce like a carrot into this blade assembly, and if I don't know if you guys could see that, but this blade assembly, it's like a grater. Like you ever grate cheese or grate some vegetables, some carrots or beets for your salad. That's what these are. These are micro grates. So they micro grate the carrot as it goes in at high speed, and when the carrot is grated, some juice is released. That juice is then flung through this screen. The juice goes through the screen, and all the hard fiber and the pulp, it basically gets flung out of the machine. And that's how this guy works. So it works on centrifugal force. So on certain produce items, this machine is exceedingly good. It'll get a high yield of juice. So for example, juicing carrots in the Breville, the pulp's going to be fairly dry. And that's amazing. I mean, if you want to juice mostly all carrots and other hard vegetables, this juicer is going to do great. But the problem is when you start juicing other things, the results aren't quite as good. The yields are not quite as high, especially things like softer fruits. You know, if you want to juice peaches or berries, you know, soft, mushy apples don't tend to juice too well in here. Nice, hard, firm apples will juice better, right? And things like celery, they'll juice fairly well. But if you take leafy greens, right, the way this thing works is when you put the produce in here, and for a carrot, for example, because it's nice, hard, and stout, it juices amazingly. But if you put like a blade of spinach or kale in here, it basically hits the blades. It might basically grind it for a second, and then you'll have whole leaves getting spit out. So this to me is a really big con, because I think the food that Americans are most deficient in, based on studies I've seen, are the leafy green vegetables. And the leafy green vegetables have the most anti-disease prevention and anti-aging components, phytochemicals and phytonutrients, in my opinion, that I've seen. And so this is what we really need to do, and the Breville juicer and other centrifugal ejection juicers are not going to allow you to do this. Now, you know, of course, the pro is that this thing is fast. It runs at 13,000 revolutions per minute, which is really fast, so you could create a juice fast. So I'd much rather you guys make some kind of juice than no kind of juice. So if you're totally not going to want to take the time and not get the benefits from one of the other juicing styles, at least get one of these to, you know, at least make steps in the right direction. You know, I'll never tell you guys that juicing is a waste, you know, because some juicing is always better than no juicing. You know, it's far worse to drink a Coke, a soda, a coffee, things like that, than a fresh juice that you made, even with a high-speed juicer. That being said, things can be better by using a different style machine, in my opinion. Another pro of the Breville or the centrifugal ejection style machines in general is that they're generally lower in cost. Another con is that actually in general they have a shorter warranty. So the Breville actually has a 1-year warranty. When you're buying a machine that's about $300, that's not too good in my opinion. I mean, the other machine that I showed you guys earlier is about the same price as this guy and has a 15-year warranty, which we'll get into in a little bit. And I also want to let you guys know, you know, when there's like a comparison you guys are seeing on YouTube of a centrifugal versus a masticating juicer, right? Depending on what's being juiced, the results may vary. So, you know, if you're going to juice exactly what's being shown in the video, that's good, because then you know with those produce items, this is going to be the yield. But if you can't just surmise that, oh, this guy juiced carrots in here, and he juiced carrots in the other machine, but I'm going to juice leafy greens. So leafy greens are going to get the same yield as carrots. No, 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 right? So it's important to watch the videos that the people are juicing things you want to juice. And that's what I try to do for you guys, right? I have nearly 500 videos now on this YouTube channel using all different kinds of juicers, using all different kinds of produce, just things that I'm juicing, things from my garden, things from whatever, so you guys can get a wide range of how the juicers work. And of course, we could extrapolate when juicing kale, if the yield's going to be the same on spinach, because they're both leafy greens, so they're going to be similar. But, juicing, fruits, hard fruits, versus juicing carrots, the yields will vary, and every machine is going to do a little bit differently, right? So, I mean, that's pretty much the pros and the cons of the Breville. I mean, the other thing is that, as I showed you guys earlier, it is actually quite loud. And in general, for the phytochemicals and phytonutrients, based on the studies I've seen, produces a less quality or lesser quantity of those things, which are probably one of the most important things for me. Because, you see, I got into juicing for my health specifically, for no other reason. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe I could have lost a little bit of weight, which I did through juicing, but I got into it for my health because I almost lost my life, 25 years ago now, approximately. And it's not a fun place to be when you're in the intensive care unit in the hospital and you ask the doctor, "Doctor, when am I going to get out of here?" And he says, "You might not get out of here. We have no conventional medical treatment for you guys." And so I can only say I'm here today from higher powers. I was given a second chance, and in my opinion, my second chance is here to help others learn what I've learned so that I could be healthy and not end up in the hospital, because the doctor said I could have a reoccurrence of that disease or any other disease because I had a chronically depressed and weak immune system that they blamed on my genes, which I've since, found that, there's this thing called epigenetics, and we can influence our genes by the food you eat. And we're not told this, right? You think if you eat, McDonald's and fast food and junk food all day, you're going to have the same level of health as if you eat fruits and vegetables, leafy greens, high nutrient dense foods out of your garden. Major difference, let me tell you guys. After experiencing a healthy, plant-based, fruit and vegetable centric diet for the last 20 years, and just seeing my brother for the last 20 years, who's 2 years younger than me, not eat the same diet, the results are staggering, right? He's obese by his doctor and has aches and pains and inflammation in his body, and I don't, all right? So anyways, let's go ahead and get into some of the other style machines on the market today. And next up, we got the masticating. So now I'm going to talk about the masticating juicer, and in my opinion, the only masticating juicer on the market at this time is the Champion juicer, right? And this machine, as I mentioned before, it's its 60th year anniversary, and that's older than me. And the design pretty much hasn't changed at Champion. I'll give you guys the inside info. There's like 2 camps at Champion. The people that have been making it for all these years and the people that are kind of newer and they want to basically make it better, and they keep fighting at Champion, and basically the side that says let's keep it as it is kind of winning. Although I have seen, and heard of a new Champion model that who knows when it's going to come out, but it's going to be masticating and then some, because it's going to be masticating with cold pressing. So I really can't wait for that machine, and that machine should be coming out sooner rather than later, because that really takes masticating juicing to the next level and may even surpass some of the cold press juicers that I'll be talking about in a minute. But overall, I do like the masticating design, but the Champion design, the problem is it's a 60-year-old design and times have changed, things have gotten better. While this does run at a lower RPM than the centrifugal ejection machine that I showed you guys earlier, it's still running actually quite fast. And let me explain to you guys how the masticating juicer works. So to masticate means to chew with teeth, right? I mean, there's other definitions, but this is my definition, to chew with teeth. This is where the term originated from, the Middle Ages or whatever, when we would chew stuff up with our teeth, and that's masticate. So that's how this guy works. This is the only juicer on the market that has teeth that chews. All other juicers that they call masticating are not really masticating at all, in my opinion. And in my opinion, that's probably a good thing. So this is why the Champion juicer is called a masticating juicer. It has this auger here that runs, at 1,725 RPMs, and it has these little stainless steel teeth that, if you run your finger across it hard enough, you'd probably cut your fingers because it is a little bit sharp. And when you put produce down into the Champion, basically these teeth come and cut it off and grind it and chew it much like our mouth would. And one of the things I like about the Champion is that inside here it's stainless steel lined, so your food's only contacting like the stainless steel lining here, stainless steel teeth, and of course a BPA-free plastic to grind it up. So in this grinding process, this is the juicer that creates the most amount of friction, which produces the heat. So this machine can get warm if you touch it. So most people would believe that heat is probably a negative thing for juicers, and in my opinion, it doesn't get hot enough to drastically, denature or kill enzymes or anything like that, but it does get warm. So if that bothers you, this is not the style of machine for you. Now, one of the things I like about the Champion is that it tends to be relatively quick. And the thing I like the most about the Champion is that the Champion will homogenize. And what does that mean? Homogenize means to basically grind up things the best out of any juicer. So homogenization, or what would you homogenize? You would homogenize things like frozen fruits in a sorbet. So this is actually the one reason why I own the Champion today, is to basically make frozen banana ice cream. And there's no cream in my frozen banana ice cream. All I simply do is I put the Champion together, and instead of this juicing screen in the bottom, I put what's called a blank plate that is included with the Champion when you buy it. And you put the bananas in there and basically fluffs it up, and it comes out this end much like that soft serve machine at your fast food restaurant that's serving you all kinds of heavily processed monodiglycerides and corn syrup and artificial flavors stuff. But now you have a 100% fruit treat that's actually healthy for you that you can enjoy. So that's the reason why it does it the best. Now, why does Champion do this the best? Well, because it is grinding up. It actually, as it's grinding, it introduces some air into the mixture, and it also introduces some heat. The heat is not necessarily a problem with the banana ice cream. It's actually kind of a pro, because sometimes the bananas, and when I pull them out of my freezer and put it through here, they're really cold, and so when it comes out, it's not quite as cold, so you don't get that brain freeze thing when your teeth get cold and you're like, oh, it's too cold, right? And it also works really great on nut butters, because it actually grinds up more like those nut butter machines at your health food store and introduces some heat. The cold press juicers, while they claim they make nut butters, they make more of a nut flour, because they're not really grinding and adding heat and friction to make it congeal together, right? But so that's a good thing. But on the flip side, because it is aerating the frozen banana sorbet or ice cream you're making with 100% fruits, I like to do like bananas and berries, that's my favorite. It also adds air to when you're juicing, so the juice made with the Champion will come out a little bit darker, and that darker, in my opinion, is not because it's pulling out more nutrition, but it's because it's oxidizing the nutrients more and turning it brown. It's like if you cut open an apple, it turns brown. Well, that's what the Champion's doing on multitudes faster, because it is spinning and it's grinding and it's creating friction, right? So that's a pro and a con. But I mean, these things are built like tanks. And if you want a juicer that's you're gonna hand down to your kids, their grandkids, and their great-great-grandkids, the Champion juicer is probably it. So other things about the Champion is that it tends to work fairly well on things like carrots and fruits, and it will juice greens to some extent. Now you will need to pre-cut greens and things like celery, or the strings will get wrapped around the blades. Champion did come out with a greens attachment or a wheatgrass attachment to try to fix this. But in my opinion, that's a Band-Aid that really just keeps falling off. It just doesn't really work too well, so I really encourage Champion to come out with their new model that should blow away a lot of other juicers. And I really can't wait for that, hopefully sooner rather than later. So last, I want to talk about the cold press juicers. And these are my personal favorite style juicers based on the research I've seen and also how they work with certain produce items. And unlike the other kinds of juicers that we talked about, the centrifugal juicers that have centrifugal and centrifugal ejection style, or the masticating, which is only the Champion, because the Champion juicer is the only one that has a teeth, the cold press juicer term is kind of a terminology that encompasses many different juicers, including the twin gear juicer, including the two-stage hydraulic press juicer, and including single auger juicers. And this is where things can get a little bit crazy, because people don't fully understand the cold press technology. And that's what I'm going to try to show with you guys in this part. So the original kind of cold press juicer before all these new juicer innovations came out was this style machine. Now, this is called the Pure Juicer, and the Norwalk was the original kind, but the Pure Juicer has actually taken what the Norwalk has done, which is a two-stage grinding and pressing, and made it even better. So this is a pre-release version. I'm testing it right now. It should be out later, I don't know, next year. That'll be in 2016, depending on when you're watching this. If you're watching it when I just put it out, it's going to be out soon. And I'll be having videos demonstrating this machine, and we'll be offering it hopefully soon at discount juicers for you guys. And so far, so good. But anyways, I'm not here to sell you guys on the pure juicer. I'm here today to talk to you guys about how this style machine works and how this style is very similar to the other styles that we're going to get into in a minute. So the way this machine works is two stages, right? The first stage is you take your produce, you put it in this side of the machine, and when you put it in this side of the machine, it goes through this side, and it basically hits this grinding blade. And this grinding blade is a state-of-the-art grinding blade. They've done many computer mock-ups and models, and it really kicks ass over the Norwalk. That's a whole nother video. But basically, this grinding blade runs at 3,000 RPMs approximately, so it's running very fast. It has very sharp blades, and it basically grinds up the produce into a mush. Right? So it grinds it up into a mush. The second stage is you take that mush, you put it into a press cloth, you put the press cloth in here, and then you press a button, and this automatically raises up through hydraulic pressure and squeezes all the juice out, which then drips out the front. So that's how the hydraulic press style cold press juicer works, two-stage. And this is very popular, you know, in things like the Gerson therapy, which is used for healing people with cancer and other incurable diseases, and that's what they recommend you guys use. And so I would say that, you know, this technology, much like the Champion, has been out for ages. You know, Norman Walker made the Norwalk juicer, I don't know, back in the 20s or 30s or whenever it was made, and there wasn't any other juicing technology. You know, things have improved a lot since the press style juicers, and even the, you know, this style cold press juicer, two-stage, has its pros and cons, right? One of the cons to me is that this blade is running at 3,000 RPM, and it does generate some heat. It does get warm, so depending on how big your batches are, you know, your pulp could will be warmer. The other thing, you know, that's the main reason why I don't like this style machine, because this runs at too high of a speed. If maybe it could run and grind at a slower speed, I'd be much more happy with it. And then the second stage, while the hydraulic press style machines like this style is generally known for getting the highest yield because it leaves the pulp sawdust dry just about. The other thing is that, you know, in comparison to the previous style machines that we talked about, which have been out for a long time, the centrifugal and the masticating, this will produce a higher quality juice based on studies I've seen, right? So that's a good thing. But the thing is, with the newer technology juicers, they may produce higher quality juice than this, because this is not always the best. It's definitely better than the previous two styles, but some of the other styles that I'll be showing you guys, in my opinion, in some categories of nutrients, will make higher nutritional quality than this machine. I mean, one of the main reasons for this is the high speed for grinding, and the second stage is when you put that pulp in a press bag and then you press out the juice. And what I've noticed when doing this is when you press it out through a press bag, you know, all the juice has to come through these really small size holes that are in the press bag, significantly smaller than the size of holes that are on a stainless steel screen in some of the other juicers, right? So I've noticed that, say for example, when I juice pineapple in this machine versus like a slow vertical auger juicer, my pineapple juice out of this machine would be almost, you know, pretty clear. You could see through it pretty well because it's holding back all the fiber, and some nutrients may be being held back with that fiber. And when I juice the pineapple in a slow juicer, you know, that has a stainless steel screen that has larger holes, it lets more particulate particles through, and it has a deeper, richer color to me. Now, you know, that's just my personal opinion, and of course I love the way cold press juices made with a two-step hydraulic and grinding stages work, but I really like the cold press juicers also. So I mean, the cons of this machine and this style is that they're expensive. This is going to run about $2,000. Norwalk's run about $2,500, so that's a lot of money. Also, you know, these machines take more time because you got to feed things through here, then you got to put it in a press bag, fold the press bag out, put it in here and press it out, and then you got to clean everything. So there's a lot more pieces to clean, and I don't know about you, but I'd rather clean a stainless steel screen on a juicer than a pressed cloth bag any day of the week. Now the pros are that you're going to get a high yield, probably the highest yield of any juicer out there, bar none. And the nutrition is going to be higher than the previous models that I showed, the centrifugal or the masticating, but potentially not as high as maybe some of the other cold press juices I'll show you guys in a minute. Another major pro of this style machine is that your juices pretty much touch all stainless steel in this juicing apparatus, except for the pressing cloth, which is currently made of nylon, and hopefully they'll be coming out with some cotton or hemp press cloths, so you won't have to, your food won't ever have to touch plastic if you are concerned about that. But be forewarned, cotton and hemp press cloths are not as strong as a nylon, and you may end up busting them out more frequently if not used appropriately. So yeah, that's the true cold press 2-stage hydraulic juicer, and this one is called the Pure Juicer. So if you want to learn more about the Pure Juicer, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for videos when I start coming out with them on the Pure Juicer that we hope to start selling in 2016. So next I want to go over another kind of cold press juicer, a kind that I call the horizontal single auger juicer. And this is a cold press juicer to me because this is not masticating. There are no teeth on here like the Champion, although some manufacturers will say these are masticating juicers. In my opinion, that's not accurate. In my opinion, you know, masticating juicers that are made at this time are actually inferior to the cold press juicers, which are superior, right? So why say your juicer's inferior by saying they're masticating? All right, so these are cold press juicers, and if you remember the hydraulic press two-stage juicer that I showed you guys, right? There's 2 stages. Number 1, you grind into a mush. Number 2, you press it out. Well, this makes that process much more easy and convenient so that you don't have to use press cloths, you don't have to have press bags, you know, and things aren't going to splatter all over, all this kind of stuff. Basically, you take the produce, you put it in here, and this machine will basically grind and press out the juice for you. And let me go ahead and show you guys how this works. We got the Omega NC800 over on this side, and we got the Solo Star 4 by Trivest over on this side. These are the 2 best horizontal single auger juicers that I've tested to date on this market, and I like each of them for different reasons. Mainly I like the NC800 because it has a larger feed chute, and I like the Solo Star 4 because it gets a higher yield than the NC800 in my tests. But either way, you can't go wrong with either of these machines. So let's go ahead and show you guys how this style machine works. So this style machine works with a little auger. So if you guys are like pretty old, you guys might know like your grandma used to have like a hand old-fashioned meat grinder, those metal things that you put, you know, the meat in, you'd crank it and it would grind it up. Well, that's basically how this works. This is like an old-fashioned meat grinder, but significantly improved for not grinding meat, but for juicing and pulling out the nutrition out of fruits and vegetables. So this is basically a single auger, and basically what or a grinder, you put the produce in here, and basically this auger, it crushes up the juice. So instead of like the grinding attachment, you know, for the press, it grinded up as you put it in there. So basically, the produce hits this, it's chopped off, it's chopped and grinded and compressed into a smaller and smaller space, and at the same time it's doing that, it's squeezing out all the juice because this auger is inside this juicing screen, and this actually has the most surface area of any juicing screen of any horizontal single auger, and that's why I believe it makes the most yield. Also, it is more challenging to clean because there are more holes that the pulp can get clogged in, and that's another reason why I like the NC800. Way easy to clean, man. But yeah, as the produce goes down in here, it's basically grinding it up and it's squeezing out the juice all in one step, so that you guys don't have to do the 2-step process. And these machines are a fraction of the price of the very expensive hydraulic press style machines. Now, these style machines, unlike the hydraulic press that gets virtually 100% yield, these machines will be better or worse at certain produce items. So for example, on leafy greens, you know, it's probably going to give the hydraulic press a run for their money. On something like wheatgrass, these machines will beat the hydraulic press. Now on something like carrots, the hydraulic press, you know, that I showed you guys are going to beat these machines. These guys will juice carrots, but they're not super efficient. Even the centrifugal ejection machine will beat these guys on carrots. But for the leafy greens, I mean, it's hard to get better when juicing leafy greens by themselves, you know, than using one of these 2 machines. Now on the fruits, these machines aren't necessarily the best at juicing fruits. Now if you want to juice a fruit here and there in with your vegetables, an apple or lemon or some pineapple in with your leafy greens and rotate them and put some celery in there and carrots in there, it's going to work great. But if you just said, hey John, I want to juice 100% pineapple juice and just put one pineapple through here, you're going to be pulling your hair out. I mean, I'd much rather use the hydraulic press for pineapples just because this will make a higher quality juice in my opinion, but it's going to back up and jam and it's going to be a pain in the arse, you know. So I wouldn't even use it for that. So if you want to juice like mostly fruits, this is not the machine. If you want to juice wheatgrass and sprouts and microgreens, this is the machine. If you want to juice medicinal herbs, this is definitely the machine you're going to want to get. If you want to use mostly leafy greens, I think I already said that, this is the machine. And if you want to use mostly leafy greens with some hard vegetables and other vegetables, these machines are going to work great as well. Now, that's one of the pros. The cons of that, it doesn't do fruit. Another pro is that these guys are simple to clean. I mean, look at this. I took this guy apart. There's very few parts to clean. The auger, this screen as compared to this screen, significantly easier to clean because there's less screen area. And then we just have this main body housing. So like mainly 3 parts. So if you want like the easiest clean juicer, the NC800 is definitely it. And this style machine overall is easier to clean than other style machines in my opinion. One of the cons to this is that it can be slow, especially in the Solo Star 4 with its smaller 1.5 or 1.5 inch circular feed chute. It's kind of small, so you're going to have to cut produce in to fit down in there. And this guy actually has a much larger feed chute size, and that's why I really like the NC800, you know, for its feed chute and ease of cleaning. Let's see, another thing about these style machines is that they tend to have a long warranty. So both these machines have a 15-year long warranty. So this means that you'll be guaranteed you'll be juicing for the next 15 years without incident. You know, if due to no fault of your own, the machine breaks, you know, so for example, the screen has been known to break on some of the Omega different models. You know, they had some problems with it and have since adjusted and corrected that. You know, these are covered under warranty if you didn't drop it, break it, put rocks down your juicer, or stick like a screwdriver or, you know, a knife down your juicer. If you were just juicing carrots or wheatgrass and it broke, call up Omega, show your proof of purchase that you purchased it new, and they'll go ahead and, you know, replace it for you. You know, unlike maybe the blade on the Breville, which is a non-warranty part, you're going to have to buy a new one when it wears out, and that's another challenge with the masticating and centrifugal juicers. You know, the blades are wearing parts. These blades are non-wearing parts, so I like that a lot. You're in for the long haul. In addition, these generally make a higher quality juice because they run at lower RPM, and the yield varies depending on the produce you're juicing. Also, as I showed you guys before, these guys are very quiet. Another con of these guys is actually you have to push each produce item into the machine. They're really not auto feeding, right? So the example is if you took a carrot and you stuck the carrot in here, the auger is going to spin, the carrot's going to sit on top, and it's just going to sit there until you put a little bit of downward force and pressure on the produce you're feeding in. So although the cleanup time is easy and very quick, the juicing time you know, that you're going to take to juice is going to be a little bit longer because you're having to push each item into the machine. So the total juicing time is the preparation plus the juicing time plus the cleanup time. And the preparation time is going to stay the same. The juicing time is going to be longer, but the cleanup time is going to be shorter. So that's the horizontal single auger juicers. They definitely have their pros and cons. The next style juicer is the one that I actually like the most. It's actually known as the vertical single auger juicer. So let me come back and show you guys the 2 top vertical single auger juicers on the market at this time. So the next style of cold press juicer I want to show you guys today is known as the vertical single auger juicer, right? And the vertical single auger juicer is the latest advance in single auger technology, right? These have come out, I don't know, several years ago. And these are my favorite style of machine because they encompass some of the benefits of the horizontal single auger juicer and take it even to the next level, right? And how these guys work, let me go ahead and show you guys. So much like that standard old-fashioned meat grinder that basically grinds up the meat, this also works the same way as that horizontal machine, but instead the auger is a lot more short and compact. The produce goes in, the blade hits it, it basically chews off a piece, and then it grinds it up. And you know, the juices then goes through this juicing screen, and as the produce goes in here, it's ground up into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces until the juice is squeezed out the first stage and the second stage, and then the pulp comes out the chute at the bottom. So the reason why I like this style machine is because not only does it have an automatic wiping blade that actually goes over the screen to help clean the screen, because some of those horizontal agar juicers, you know, I'll be juicing in it and I'll see pulp getting stuck in the screen, which if it clogs the holes of the screen, that's going to lower your yield. This has this wiping blade to help minimize the screen cloggage when you're juicing. So I do like that a lot. It's also going to make it easier for you to clean it at the end, I find. And the other thing is that it's virtually self-feeding. So because we have gravity on our side, when you assemble this guy, you put the produce in there, and say you put a carrot in there, you can put a carrot in there and just leave it in there. And as the auger rotates around, the carrot will drop down, it'll come off and chew off a bit, it'll go in there and process, and the next time it comes around, it'll chew off more. So literally I could work on cutting, preparing, dropping it in. It's juicing. I'm not having to babysit or push things in. The juice comes out and I'm all done. Now the cleaning time's a bit more longer on this machine than the previous style, but because it takes me less time to juice and I could be multitasking by preparing and dropping it in while it's juicing, my overall juicing time is shorter. So that's why I choose this machine. I mean, it's not as short as the high-speed Breville or centrifugal ejection style machines, but this is the second shortest in my opinion. Now the other reason why I like this, and both these machines, I'll go ahead and share with you guys what they are, sorry. The Omega VSJ843 runs at 43 RPMs, and this is the Slow Star juicer. I think it runs at 48 RPMs or something like that. These both run at very low RPMs, which is going to minimize the oxidative damage by air infiltration in your juice in most instances. So these guys particularly juice things like fruits, vegetables, and leafy greens all fairly well. Like on leafy greens, actually, some of these guys will compare to like a horizontal single auger almost, and in some cases beat them. And in other cases, you know, it's going to do all right. Now, if you want to juice straight leafy greens, I still recommend the horizontal single auger. It's going to work better than one of these guys. But if you're going to juice a lot of leafy greens, plus hard vegetables, plus fruits, and that's where these guys shine. These guys juice fruits, in my opinion, better than any other style juicer, except maybe the hydraulic press. It's going to get the pulp super dry. These machines work fabulously on fruits and are my go-to machine for when I want to juice like straight pineapple juice or straight cantaloupes and things like that. It works better than any other machine. So I mean, that's really the benefit of these machines, is that they have an overall flexibility of juicing everything, and they all do it fairly well. And they're easy to use and fairly easy to clean. And so these guys also have long warranties. The VSJ843 has a 15-year warranty, and the Slow Star has a 10-year warranty. Now, one of the things I really like about the Slow Star is that it's the least expensive second-generation vertical auger machine. A lot of the machines that you may see on the market may look like one of these machines, but they're first generation. These are the only second generation machines that I'm aware of at this time. And let me go ahead and show you guys the difference. The main difference is this right here. One of the biggest challenges on this style machine is that the juicing screen will get clogged up with pulp, and the juice will come out excessively pulpy, and there'll be a jam and the pulp will not come out. This is because in the first generation models of these machines, this juicing screen had a little hole in the bottom, and this hole in the bottom is where all the pulp that the machine ground up had to travel through in order to get out of the machine. These machines no longer have that hole in the bottom of the screen, which is a major blockage point. So if you buy any other vertical single auger juicer besides these two, you're likely going to have problems with it jamming, clogging, and making excessive pulp in the juice. These guys are going to work the best out of all of them because they're the second generation design that deletes this hole. So I do recommend, if you do get a vertical juicer, get one of these two guys. They're the best I've tested, and I do have videos comparing the pros and cons of these guys. Now, the Slow Star on this side also comes with what's called the homogenizing attachment. So much like the Champion makes frozen banana ice creams, you could also make frozen banana ice cream and nut butters with the Slow Star, but you can't do that with the Omega VSJ843. So yeah, these are the machines that I like to use the best because I tend to juice leafy greens with hard vegetables and fruits, and all in different combinations. Some days I'll do a fruit juice, most days I'll do a vegetable juice, And I like that these machines also extract high yield from the leafy greens, which are the most important plant food that we should be eating each and every day. My goal every day is to eat 2 pounds of leafy greens, and by simply taking a pound of leafy greens, putting it through the VSJ 843, you get about a cup of juice, and it's really simple to drink a cup of juice, compared to eating a whole pound of leafy greens that I know many of you guys might not want to do. Let's see, the other maybe cons of these guys that they are more expensive than the horizontal single augers, but I think the investment is worth it. And the main thing for me is that a juicer, it's not just another appliance like a toaster or a coffee maker you're going to use. I mean, this is a machine that could truly, in my opinion, save your life. So you want to take your time to purchase a good one, the one that's going to do the best job for you, but also one that has a long warranty, because the juicer is your best insurance of good health, provided you use it every day. So the last style of cold press juicer that I want to share with you guys today is known as a twin gear juicer. So this cold press style juicer is the one that can most closely rival the two-stage hydraulic press, and in some cases even exceed the juice quality from the studies that I've seen based on how it works. So this is also a slow juicer, runs at under 150 RPMs in general. And let me go ahead and show you guys how this works. So unlike the auger cold press juicers, this runs with 2 gears, much like if you guys have ever seen inside of a transmission, right? And these are the 2 gears right here. And how these work is these metal gears, you put the produce in here, and the produce is put between these gears that are not really super sharp. I could run against my face and I won't get cut or anything. Don't recommend you guys do that. But you put the produce in here, and you literally have to push the produce into the gears. So for something like leafy greens, it sucks the leafy greens in. For something like a carrot, you do need to have some upper body strength to push the produce into the gears so that it basically chunks off pieces, and it basically finely grinds up the produce. And with some of these teeth here, Pocket Reset's teeth, it'll even cut up the strings of the celery so they don't get clogged in the machine like they say would on the Champion. It basically grinds that up too. So this is actually a 3-stage juicer. Actually, although the other juicers were 2 stages, this actually has 3 distinct stages. So number 1, it does the grinding, and this machine does the grinding the best of all the juicers that I've seen and that I've showed you guys, aside from the 2-stage hydraulic press. So it grinds in this section. The next stage is this plastic section. It's actually smooth plastic, and this is known as the mixing section. And this is actually what the hydraulic 2-stage press style juicers do, unbeknownst to you, because the first stage on the hydraulic press is you grind all the produce at high speed. This is grinding it at low speed. Same, with metal gears, much like the hydraulic press. That second stage actually is your produce is sitting there. So the certain different juicing protocols recommend you let the produce sit there and kind of mix up. Apples and carrots mix up and hang out a little while so the enzymes commingle or whatever happens when that happens. And then it mixes the produce in this section up a little bit, and then the final section, which is the last set of the gears, is now squeezing out the juice out of the produce, much like in the press bag. But once again, this is a 1-step juicer, so it's a lot easier to clean, and quicker to use than the 2-stage, hydraulic press style machine. So yeah, that's how these guys work with these metal gears, and you need to make sure the gears are lined up properly before you insert them in the machine. Now, much like anything, there's pros and cons of this machine also. One of the pros is that it's going to get the highest yield of all the other juicers aside from the hydraulic press. And the other benefit is that, in my opinion, from the studies I've seen, in some cases, but not all nutrients, but the majority of nutrients, this machine extracts higher nutrition than even the 2-stage hydraulic press, which is touted as the best. Well, nothing's ever right and wrong, good and bad, right? It's always gradients, So overall, I can tell you this: if I had some disease that was life-threatening, I would not use a 2-stage hydraulic press style machine for the best juice. I would use a Green Star Elite. Now, luckily, I don't have any kind of disease like that, so I just use the, the vertical single auger. Because the other thing about this is that while the Pro is highest quality juice, highest yield compared to other juicers, especially in its price range, There are a fair bit amount of parts to clean on here, and especially the screen. The screen gets clogged up with produce. You have to use like this, the screwdriver end of this cleaning brush to basically get the clogged out produce out and then scrub it down, and then juice gets trapped within here. But every juicer has its pros and cons, much like your wife or your husband may have their pros and cons. You overall like them, but you don't like how they pick their nose once in a while. I mean, I don't know, whatever. So that's why I make these videos, to explain all the different types, because in a quick video where somebody's just doing a juice off comparison, showing you guys the yield test, yeah, great. Yield is one aspect of the many aspects of juicers. Another thing I like about the Green Star Elite is that it has a full 12-year warranty, which is the second longest warranty in the juicing industry. So you're going to be guaranteed you're going to be having the highest quality, most nutritious, highest yielding juice out of any other of the juices I've shown previously, except for the two-stage hydraulic press. So the money you save in a drier produce can make up for a little bit extra price, and basically by buying a more expensive juicer, one that's more efficient, it's going to pay you off in the long run. Of course, I do encourage you guys to grow your own garden so you have endless supplies of produce, so you don't have to worry about penny pinching every last ounce of juice out of produce that is conventionally or even organic grown, which in my opinion is inferior to homegrown, nutrient-dense grown fruits and vegetables that you can grow yourself. Because one thing is the quality of the juice coming out of the juicer that is extracting from the vegetables you're juicing, and the other thing, of course, if there's not nutrients in the vegetables or fruits or plants you're juicing, they're not going to be in the juice. So I want to maximize not only the nutrition out of the juicer, but maximize the nutrition out of the food that I'm putting into the juicer. And that's even, in my opinion, more important, because the foods of today are not as nutrient dense as, in my opinion, they should be for our optimal health. So the twin gear juicer, although this is called the Green Star Elite juicer, you might think, John, that must use greens very well. Well, it juices greens quite well, but in my test, the single auger horizontal style machine, when juicing straight greens, did better than this, because this tended to create a lot of foam when juiced greens only. In addition, while this will juice wheatgrass and sprouts, it also tends to foam and not make the highest yield juice. That's why I would use a single auger. But if you're juicing something like hard vegetables and greens, so even like a 50-50 ratio, and it's not 100% greens, this guy's going to really get the greens the driest. The problem is when you're juicing straight greens, right? And for hard vegetables, this is probably the best juicer in terms of yield, maybe even rivaling the Breville, which makes a high yield on carrots, but not other things. This juicer overall will make a high yield on greens and carrots. Now on the fruits, once again, if you're juicing fruits with your hard vegetables and greens, it's going to do a really good job. But if you're trying to juice fruits alone, and John, I want to make a pineapple juice or 100% apple juice in this machine, you want to get a different machine, because this is not the machine for juicing straight fruits. Yeah, fruits mixed in with vegetables, leafy greens can be fine, but too much fruits basically clog and back up this juicer, because this juicer is designed for things like hard vegetables and the leafy greens. So yeah, we went over the con of the cleaning, we went over the pro of the highest nutrition, highest yield. It's a bit more expensive than some of the other machines, but you're buying a machine that's time proven and solid, because this style machine, the twin gear machine, has went through many revisions, as is the others that I'm showing you guys today. And be sure to click that subscribe button down below for future updates on when new machines come out that even rival and surpass these machines, because one of the things that I look forward to as somebody that sells juicers, and more importantly uses juicers in my life every day, I want to have a better machine. And I don't care what manufacturer does it, I just want that to be out there available for you guys, but more importantly available for me, so that it makes my job easier in the kitchen when I'm making juice, for me and hopefully my family one of these days. So now you guys saw this episode and have watched through it and learned more about the centrifugal juicers, the masticating juicers, and the cold press juicers, and other categories of the cold press juicers. You guys now know more than most of the people making videos on YouTube about juicers. So I thank you guys for watching this, and now I'd like to give you guys and share with you guys my summary. So my summary is pretty much this. Much like I like the newest iPhone, although I don't have it yet, I like the newest, latest technology in juicers, because I believe juicing technology has expanded and gotten better, and something like the centrifugal technology, centrifugal ejection technology, the masticating technology, and even the hydraulic press technology has not advanced as quickly as some of the other cold press juicer technologies. such as the twin gear juicer, such as the horizontal single auger, and such as the vertical single auger juicers, you know. And I would definitely choose probably one of these style juicers if you guys are considering a juicer. And each of these machines, as I went into in general, have their pros and cons. So what I would recommend to you guys is check my past episodes. I've over 400 episodes now comparing this juicer to this juicer, this juicer to this juicer, and different juicers to other juicers, so you guys could figure out which juicer will best meet your needs, because my needs are probably not the same needs as you. That being said, as I did say earlier, the vertical single auger juicer is my favorite style machine because I tend to juice a variety of things: leafy greens, hard vegetables, and fruits. It does it fairly well, and the Slow Star also will do things like homogenized banana sorbet, so you could eat more fruits instead of ice creams and things like that. And basically that's what these machines do. They allow you to get more fresh fruits and vegetables in you, and I don't care how you guys do that. The juicer is my favorite appliance to do that because it really concentrates the amount of fruits and vegetables you can eat in one serving, because the fiber will hold you back and you will not eat as much, and you will not get as much of an uptake, or you'll get a greater uptake of the nutrients in the juices. Not to say that you should never eat foods or blend, because I blend, juice, and eat foods whole. And, you know, frankly, I just want to eat the best foods on the planet, and those are fruits and vegetables. And that's why I love these juicers so much, because I get testimonials each and every day. John, I just got one the other day. John, I lost 100 pounds because I've been juicing, like you said on the YouTube, just for breakfast, right? And I know you guys could do that too. You guys could lose weight. You guys could have more energy, have a greater level of health by juicing every day, by including more of these fresh fruits and vegetables, because the fact of the matter is, Americans today are deficient in fresh fruits and vegetables. The most commonly consumed vegetable is potatoes, and they're very low in the nutrition. I'd rather eat carrot juice, drink carrot juice, than have any kind of potatoes or French fries any day of the week, because there are more beneficial properties in the carrots. And the recent study came out that said, you know, if you're going to juice carrots, you want to juice the purple ones because they have more antioxidants. And rats that were fed a junk food diet, you know, gain weight, but they were fed the junk food diet with the purple carrots, they lost weight. So I'm not going to say that's going to happen for you or anything, but this is in rats. But it's amazing what can happen when our bodies are flooded with these phytochemicals and phytonutrients that are rich in the fruits and vegetables. If you guys enjoyed this video, I want to encourage you guys to support me and my work. I take time out of my day to make these videos to educate you guys, so you guys can learn about these juicers, because manufacturers and even other people on YouTube may not be teaching the same exact information that I do, because I've been living this lifestyle for the last 20 years now. So I want to encourage you guys to make your purchase at discountjuicers.com to support me and my work and allow me to continue to do the work I love. So I thank you for that, and I could continue to make juicing videos, also videos on how to live a healthier lifestyle, and even how to grow your food, you know, when you support me and my work. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please give me a thumbs up. Also, please sure to share this video with others to educate them about juicers, how they work, the different types, so that they know the truth about juicing. And also be sure to click that subscribe button down below to be notified of my new and upcoming episodes. Maybe when I have that pure juicer in an episode, comparing that to this guy, which is going to be really fun. And be sure to check my past episodes. I have a wealth of knowledge contained in over 400 videos comparing different juicers, so that you guys could select the right juicer for you. So once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors. Alright, this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today, another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do today is introduce you guys to the all-new Trivest juicers, including the all-new Green Star Elite and the all-new Solo Star 4 juicers. And as you guys